Alright, so hello everyone, and my name is Wonderdrift, and I'll be serving as your caster. For today's matchup, we have SGD Omega versus Bren Esports. So we look at the bans for both teams. So there's no Claude, there's no Lunox, there's no Aldo on the side of SGD. And on the side of Bren Esports, they've decided to ban the Thamus, the Cho, and the Harith. Now we look at the selections for both teams. So SGD going for Grok, Gushon, Carry, Akai, and Leomord. So they got a bit of some sort of tanky approach, given the Grok, Leomord, and Akai as your front liners. And then they have some really powerful options on the back lines because you got Gushon and you got Carry. And Gushon is so good at demoralizing any of your weak targets. And Bren Esports, they're actually susceptible to that based on their lineup. Because sure, you have Kimmy, you have Harley, but if you look at it, Kimmy and Harley, they lack mobility compared to Gushon. They may have like a flicker, they may actually use their abilities to blink out, but Gushon could constantly chase you, and that's one thing that Bren Esports has to watch out. But if you look at the composition of Bren Esports on the other hand, their focus is to latch onto individual targets, because if you look at it, Kaya has been deployed on the battlefield on the side of Bren Esports. So you expect Bren Esports to rotate around the map, get the objectives, and then go for these early pickoffs because that's what Kaya is capable of doing. And the fact is, if you try to go on a team gank against them, it might be a blunder because one thing you have to consider is that Bren Esports picked Bellaric. And Bellaric provides that sort of high sustain and high survivability that they need if SGD decides to go on a counterattack in front of them. Alright, so we're gonna be introducing the teams as well as the players later on, and here we go. So Carl's gonna be the Gushon, Boo's gonna be the Grok, Dale's gonna be the Carry, Lex is gonna be the Akai, and Levi's gonna play as Leomord. And Gushon is gonna go on the mid lane together with Grok. So of course that's really common. As you can see, Rebo's gonna be your Kaya, he's gonna be your Fanny. Yep. Gonna be your no, not Fanny, but Kimmy. Sorry, wrong. Indeed, Rebo's gonna be your Kaya. But instead, we go and skip the introductions because a clash is about to happen here as Rebo and Yi are gonna, pressure on the mid lane. I mean, when you have that Kimmy, you really have that sort of like early game pressure because Kimmy, he's got the right click damage indeed, and then combine it with the Ring of Kaya, which is obviously something which you could use on a team fight. So this is one thing that's so good about the lineup of Bren Esports. So in the laning phase, they could actually like outmaneuver SGD. Because, as I mentioned, Kimmy is capable of doing that. And then obviously you have Kaya, who's rotating around the map. And that's what we're experiencing right now. If you look at it, Bren Esports are trying to take the objectives in the jungle. Because here in Mobile Legends, the jungle objectives are very important. Because the moment you secure these jungle objectives, like if you get those purple jungle minions in the map, you get the additional boost, which is so beneficial. So you expect Bren Esports to do that because their composition is primarily based on like going on these individual flanks. And remember, hold on, wait, are we going to see a clash? Nope, not yet. Remember, Bren Esports has the Hellcurt. And Hellcurt is capable of reducing your overall vision. So if you're SGD, that's something you have to concern yourselves. They have the Kaya who could like kite you off individually, and you have Hellcurt who could just negate your overall vision, especially if you're going to go solo. As you can see, an exchange here between Boo going 1v1 Haze. However, Boo gets killed there. First blood already declared by Pain indeed, and he's just delivered it in front of SGD, so that's the momentum boost indeed. Now they're going for more as the last of it's pulled on to Levi and gets slaughtered there by Pain again and again. That's back-to-back kills for Bren Esports. A really good start. I mean, that's what's really expected for them to deliver because of that sort of approach, the sort of lineup that they impose. When you've got the Hellcurt, when you've got the Kaya, you really have the aggression mode activated. And you can see Carl, his vision getting negated there by the Coco's Hellcurt indeed. So this is something that SGD has to be cautious. Bren Esports are constantly going to move around the map. And to make matters worse, if you try to go on the counterattack with their rotational tactics, you're really going to struggle a lot because the Hellcurt is just there to constantly negate any form of like counterplay that you might impose. However, you can see here Levi trying to get the revenge which SGD desperately needs. So going back, it's really going to be difficult because Hellcurt just takes away the vision out of SGD Omega. So you really have to be cautious. And it's not going to be an easy approach for SGD because Bellaric as I mentioned early during the draft phase, he's got a lot of sustain. He's got a lot of AoE heals. If you try to, his ultimate is so phenomenal, could change the scope of a team fight, that if every one of his teammates are surrounded alongside his ultimate, then Bren Esports, they got a huge chance of survival. All the damage directed onto the teammates are going to be redirected to Beleric, which certainly is a huge sigh of relief for Bren Esports, as they're constantly moving around the map, and SGD, they're just forcing themselves to make some adaptation process. However, will it really work wonders for them? Well, we'll find out, especially in the mid to the late games, especially when they both get their necessary items. Like the physical damage reduction items are going to be so crucial for SGD, because one, if you look at the composition of Bren Esports, you know, they do have some magic damage from Kimmy, but most of their approach is really heavily based on physical damage. So they could utilize on that if you're SGD. I mean, sure, you got Kaya gets hold on thought, however, though, as Gushon gets killed, and that's going to be good for Bren Esports, because Gushon is like a potential threat on the side of Bren Esports, because his overall mobility and his overall magic damage, courtesy of his spells, is just so humongous. Like, if he constantly gets racked up in terms of like his overall productivity, in terms of like getting all the kills and the last hits and denies, that's going to be really good for SGD, because if Gushon gets that Divine Glaive, which is the ultimate magic penetration item, he's going to be unstoppable. And if you're Bren Esports, as much as possible, you got to make sure that that does not happen, okay? So, as you can see here, Levi getting caught there, getting pressured on, but here comes the jump onto the attack. Akai already pops his ultimate, whirlwinds around, and you got Boo trying to summon the wall to block any escape from Bren Esports. Now Rebo trying to rethink his tactics together with Pain to slow things down on the side of SGD. Oh boy, that's a great combo there by Lex together with Boo. Boo just summoned the wall to negate any form of escape options for Bren Esports, and SGD got the kill indeed. Combine it with Lex going for Akai's ultimate, which is actually a very powerful ultimate in terms of team fights and in terms of like reducing overall crowd control, because it negates any form of stun and any other forms of like crowd control indeed. So that's one thing that Bren Esports has to be careful. If they're going to initiate plays with Kaya, the last thing that they want to get is Akai. So that's one thing they have to consider. The best target would have to be Gushon, because if he gets caught by the lasso from Kaya, then that's definitely good news. As we can see here, Hayes, okay, he's just going to back away in a fight together with Coco. They're not prepared for this assault by SGD. And good mind games indeed. Actually, that was a 3v2 in favor of Bren Esports. Of course, if you discount the carry, who was just constantly farming in that bottom safe of the lane. Now Lex, on the other hand, he gets caught, however, by Yelly Hayes, but Lex was able to use his first skill to leap out of safety. He does need to do that. He has to make sure he keeps himself alive, because remember, Akai is like one of the most popular heroes in Mobile Legends, because his team play option is so crucial. As you can see here, Coco flickers out to safety just to make sure that this assault by Levi and Carl is not going to get the final blow onto him. Now, looking at the composition of Bren Esports, they got so much long-range damage. So, if you're SGG, as you get older, Akai however gets caught, but then pops his ultimate to negate Kaya's crowd control, and this is not looking good on the side of Bren Esports. However, they did get the first kill, but the carry's online, pops his ultimate, all his second skill as well, combined the right-click damage indeed. However, Yi already got the finishing blow, gets the kill on the poor carry. Boo trying to hide for the right spot, trying to get for the right moment to strike back. Yi going 1v1 with Carl, but Yi gets the final blow indeed, and with the Gushon dead. Oh, however, the surprise by Levi says, oh well, you get my teammate, but I got the revenge kill indeed, and that's momentum swinging in favor of SGD. They could go for more as Pace just juke it out in front of Boo. Will he get a kill into Boo? But no, Levi gets the final stomp onto the poor Harley, so Payne gets slaughtered. A good exchange for both teams, but if you're Bren Esports, what happened there in that team fight was that Rebo popped his ultimate on the Akai, and that's something you don't want to do, because the fact that he could actually negate any crowd control prowess with his ultimate is something that Bren Esports had to suffer. Like, if Bren Esports found the right target, okay, if they found the right target, they could have potentially like won that team fight. Like, the odds would be 60 to 40. Instead, because they got Akai, it went from 60 to 40 to 50 to 50. So that's not something you'd want to see if you're Bren Esports. Some blunders like that, as you can see here, Dale trying to run away and manages to dodge things in safety. However, he's trying to deny himself from the tower, but no, he gets the finishing blow indeed. And SGD Omega already has his itemizations up, so that's a very good boost indeed. Like, he needs the sort of like physical damage reduction, which you do need against a lineup of Yi and Pain as well. So this is pretty good. But Gushon as well. Oh, he's going online, however. Carl might suffocate and he gets silenced and he gets slaughtered by Coco indeed. So the assassin kills the marksman, and the assassin gets the revenge on the fellow assassin as Coco delivers the finishing blow, and he wants more blood indeed. Boo. Of course, the physical damage reduction really not enough. However, here comes the cavalry as Levi is going to jump in further forward. And Coco, will he survive from this? No, he does not, because Levi is on a mega kill. And he wants more blood indeed. But Bren Esports, okay, hold on. Here's a surprise factor. Goes on the lasso onto the poor carry, and that's a good catch indeed. See, this is the sort of initiation timings that Bren Esports have to utilize. They've got the primary target. They have to look for the right targets. If they don't do that, then the disaster will begin. And so far, this Akai is certainly, as I mentioned earlier, is not the guy you'd like to catch with Kaya's ultimate. And he's already got that physical damage reduction item as well. So this is not looking good for Bren Esports. So you have to find for certain items that could be decent against a sort of like, or that physical damage reduction. Like Malefic Roar is like the ultimate item for that, because it penetrates any form of armor and any form of physical damage reduction. So if you're Bren Esports, you gotta make sure that the likes of Yi, the likes of Coco, and the likes of Pain would get that. Although particularly, I think Yi would be the best suited option because he's got the long range barrage. Although Coco's got the mobility, so you can also give it to him. So I think you'd go for Yi and for Coco if you want to go for the Malefic Roar, to just make sure that this sort of like physical damage reductions in favor of SGD will certainly get nerfed. And if you're on the side of SGD, as I mentioned, you need the Divine Glaive. That's going to make Gushon an unstoppable force of nature. So he's got to farm that item up. If he gets that really instantly, he could burst down Bellaric. Remember, Bren Esports are going to rely on survivability under Bellaric. So if Bellaric gets slaughtered down by that sort of like Divine Glaive in favor of Carl, then of course SGD, they could actually throw Bren Esports out of the game. Remember, Bellaric's ultimate will certainly allow him to absorb all the damage that's being received by his teammates if they're around Bellaric. So if Gushon gets an item, then certainly it doesn't matter if Bellaric, okay, pops his ult. He's gonna get the insta kill, which is something that SGD would certainly want as their sort of momentum boost. Okay, so the Lord is the next objective, and both teams are actually farming their way, getting through that objective, looking for the right positioning to get the final blow. They need to win a 5v5 and then get the Lord. Because remember, the Lord does provide a sort of additional damage in terms of destroying the lanes and even annihilating the opposition as well. So it's really a cautious approach for both teams. I mean, SGD has already revealed their items, and Bren Esports, they might as well adapt into this SGD approach. Remember, this is a grand finale, and SGD already has a 1-0 edge. As you can see here, Boo is just going for the fake in, fake back. Not gonna bite in front of this trap by Bren Esports. Remember, it is a best-of-3 finals, and SGD have already won game. If they win one more game here, then Bren Esports are certainly gonna lose a lot. And now Coco trying to get that gold advantage indeed. I mean, if you look at in Mobile Legends, every jungle camp is so crucial indeed. The green ones give you additional health and regen. The purple ones give you the additional stats needed depending on your role. Like if you're a tank or a mage, you get that sort of magic reduction. If you're a fighter or a marksman, you get the additional attack speed boost. So that's something you have to consider as well. So these are important factors, but right now the map is completely clean. So this could be the sort of opportunity for both teams to go on a clash if that's what they want to happen. But instead, they're still stalling. They're still trying to get that items as well. Let's look at some other items that we could each team could deploy. Critical hits, you expect that from carry, So you might as well go for like a Twilight Armor to reduce that. Okay, nope, not a clash about to happen, but the wall to slow down Yelly Haze. They're waiting for Yelly Haze to pop his ult, I guess. Okay, he doesn't really force himself to pop his ult. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about what happens if Dale or Carry gets like the Scarlet Phantom or the Berserker Fury, which does boost its overall like critical strikes. Then Bren Esports, they have no choice but to go for the Twilight Armor. They need that. They need that against Carry because they want to make sure that his overall like critical strikes are not going to be something that's going to intimidate them. And now SGD, they're going to go for the Lord. Can they get it? However, Yelly Haze, okay, nope, he's just going to get faked back. He gets slowed down indeed. They're just waiting for Gushon to go online. If Gushon gets a Kaya, that could be really good. Remember, if Gushon gets Kaya, that's going to negate Bren Esports' chances of engagement. That Rebo has revealed his position so fast, but it gets slaughtered there by Carl through the backlines. The burst damage indeed doing a lot. He's going to get chased there by Coco. However, it doesn't really seem to matter. Or does he go down? Yes, he does go down. Coco gets a revenge kill, and now Bellic tries to heal himself, pops his ultimate to keep himself alive. And of course, both teams have already suffered casualties, but then SGD already done the damage. They got Rebo out, so that cut off any form of counter engagement. And then Coco was shut down by the combination of Leomord and Boo. So there's really no space indeed. When you lose Pain, your primary damage dealer, although you still have Yi, but if you lose Pain, as right now they're going to go for more. If Yi goes down, this could be bad. And of course, Levi gets Yi. So 2 primary damage dealers down. And Yelly Haze, without his ultimate, gets slaughtered. He does have the resurrection item, gets stomped there by Leomord. And Leomord already summoning the horse, trying to pike through. Does not get the kill, but instead they get the most important objective to put the final nail in the coffin. They get the Lord. Now he's going to push through. Let's see, the mid lane tower, because of obviously that's the weakest of all the lanes. So we're going to expect SGD to go for the final push indeed. My God. My God. I mean, that was so crucial indeed. I mean, Yelly Haze popped his ultimate, but to no avail. SGD, they just went further forward. They forced the separations on that team fight. Like, they forced Yi to be isolated, and that's not one thing you'd want to experience if you're Bren Esports. You already lost your map control because Coco got slaughtered, and then you lost Yi, who's like one of your primary damage dealers as well. And remember, if Kimmy gets slaughtered instantly like that, and if you're Bren Esports, your option for the counterattack or your option to provide a sort of counter damage is going to be negated. So this is not looking good indeed. They've got the Lord. He's going to push further forward. Actually, the Lord is pushing the top lane and not the mid lane indeed. And SGD, okay, they're going to push through the mid lane, or are they going to go for the tier 2 tower in the bot lane? The Lord has been killed by Bren Esports. I mean, they could have actually pushed with the Lord, but instead SGD going for the more conservative approach, going for the other lanes indeed. Now Boo is going to engage. He is so clutch indeed when he whirlwinds around and summons his stone wall to block off any escape from Bren Esports. Now Yelly Haze has his ultimate. I guess Bren Esports has to rely on that. They gotta time this Yelly Haze's ultimate perfectly because their chances of survival need to be on point. This is a desperate situation for Bren Esports indeed. And Omega Dale, I guess his damage has already been buffed up. I mean, overall his stat lines 2-3-1 is not really that impressive. But the fact is, when you got so much space created by Boo, I mean, Boo's really been so important. Boo and Levi. I mean, this is so intimidating. This lineup by SGD of combining 3 guys who are really powerful frontliners as Levi gets slaughtered indeed, trying to go for the push indeed. When you got 3 powerful frontliners, namely Akai, Grok, and Leomord indeed, that creates havoc around. And remember, Leomord is one of the best lane pushers in the game because when he summons his horse, he does a lot of AoE damage. As you can see here, Boo trying to go be the human bait indeed. Will his sacrifice be for the greater good? Okay, maybe his sacrifice is not going to happen. Not yet. Bren Esports are certainly not going to overcommit to that statement. And remember, Pain has a really good game as a marksman or marksman mage because he's playing as Harley. He really has a really solid game. But so far, he doesn't really get the synergy with his teammates. And that's something that's kind of sad for Bren Esports. They could have actually won the game. They have the perfect game plan from the start. It's just that SGD, they're able to make some adjustments. So you can see here, the physical damage not penetration, but reduction has been crucial for SGD based on their itemizations. And actually, I like what Carl's doing. Carl, oh, look at this. Levi, however, okay. Oh, wait, no, Lex, however, okay. No, Lex actually survives, jumps away, but Levi comes into the rescue, summons his horse, just slaughtering through the side lanes. Okay, this is not a good spot for Bren Esports. They're inside a choke point. Indeed, it's Levi and Boo just stomping in front of further forward as Coco trying to go for the salvage kill, but no, the salvage does not seem to work as Yelly Haze resurrects and dies again. And SGD, they've just won that team fight. And Levi, my God, was so clutch in that matchup indeed. You know, I really like what Levi did. He went for the right opportunity to summon his horse in front of everyone else, and they could get furthermore in here. And boy, Payne certainly has to experience the worst of the worst, especially in front of this composition by SGD. And look at this. Leomar destroys the tower. Now they go for the final push indeed. They don't care. They're just going to go and secure this victory 2-0 as SGD Omega sweep through Bren Esports in this grand finale.